The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off-season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throbbing my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too evil and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly podcast coming to you. Actually, taping this on a Wednesday, April 30th for the Thursday show, of course. 2025 here. It's May already. When you get this podcast, it'll be May. As you guys know, May is also first day of May is my birthday. I am 45 years old as of today. I want to do a quick salvo, opening here before bringing in my boys Zack and Kris, who have been in the show in quite a while. Just as of late, been in a very grateful place right now with things. 45 is I guess I don't know if people consider this an accomplishment or like if you look at like what numbers like 20 we turn 21 and 25 and 30 and 40 and 50. I guess 45 is kind of sort of like a landmark number, I guess, in some ways. Obviously, the big one would be 50. I remember my 40th was not fun because my 40th birthday was actually spent, during the pandemic 5 years ago. In fact, it was, I had so much great plans that week for my 40th birthday. I had planned to see Metallica actually in concert. They were coming to Daytona. And then obviously the show everything got canceled because of the pandemic. So my 40th birthday was not the most wasn't the most kindest. But again, there's more pressing things around the world than just my birthday. So I get that. But I also just want to reflect on life right now as a whole. Like things are good. Obviously you get mid 40s. You're looking at okay, half your life away from me 90. So I've been looking, really reflecting on how I've gotten here, where life is today, where I'm going, and I'm very thankful, number one, that I have the life I do have, the family I do have, especially the friends I do have that continue to, show love and appreciation, and we get that back to them energy-wise. We get back to them as well. And you don't, as you get older, you start realizing the things that do matter. Stop sweating the small shit. Start sweating all that stuff. Focus on the things that the main thing. The main thing is always the main thing. And that has been my life for the last couple of years, especially too. You guys know, over the course of the last couple of years, I've had some health challenges as of late. You guys know it's not a secret. I'm diabetic. I've suffered high blood pressure as of late, and other things of that nature. And I've obviously gotten under control, but it's been a challenge for me to nip that in the bud. And especially now with, my wife, who is especially very much now a health fanatic and taking care of herself as well too, and changing her life. And my priority now is I want to enjoy this next stage. Not just 45, but when I get to 50 and I get to 60, and talk to my dad a lot about this stuff. And he's closing on 70 soon, but he's in his best health he's ever been in his entire life. And that's my goal, to get there. So my focus now, especially, has been about trying to get myself in the best mental and physical health and spiritual as well too, but especially physical, because I can't do anything when I'm not healthy as possible. I'm actually, as of late, obviously dieting for me has been tough. For me, it's been tough because it's, you love the sugar, you love the carbs and this and that, and working that balance. But at the same time, you got to do it. You got to do it. But as of late, I've kind of gone overdrive. I do exercise normally. I do a lot of calisthenics at home. I do a lot of squats and push-ups and things of that nature. But the last couple of weeks, I really ratcheted up a notch. I'm actually back in the gym. For the first time, really consistently in, I'm not gonna lie, close to 20 years. I was a regular gym goer in my early 20s, my mid 20s, and once I settled down and I got married, as life happens, and granted, it's not an excuse, obviously, but I'm actually back in the gym now for the first time consistently in almost 20 years. It is actually not that hard once you know what your goals are. I walk every morning. I put in at least, I walk at least 1.5, 1.6 miles a day, 4 laps around my development. Do that daily. Sometimes it end up being 2 miles a day sometimes. But I'm trying to become more active. Keep, don't stay sedentary. Try, my kids are getting older. You want to keep up with them, and my kids are very hyper and whatnot. Do more trips and all these things. So, but I want to thank all my friends and family who are in my life, especially for being there, for, to continue to bless, my family with their love and whatnot. Also, for the record, today is also my mother's birthday as well. In addition to mine, she had me on her 21st birthday. Happy birthday, Mom, of course, who's now 29 years old. You really know how that joke goes. But especially my children and my wonderful wife, especially Lauren, who's been continuing to be the driving force of my family and of this show and everything. I would not be here right now doing what I'm doing and the focus I have now without her. So thank you, honey. I love you very much. The kids, of course, I love you guys as well too. Guys getting older, man. I can't believe it. 12 and 8 now. So anyway, I just want to reflect quickly on this. I don't want to get too much into that. We got my boys, Zack and Kris. It's been a long time on the show, so that's we're actually going to probably just do open a conversation about the playoffs and the NFL draft and maybe a little bit of politics. I don't know. See where it goes. So let's bring in Zack and Kris now to talk about whatever's going on in their lives. All right, look at these jabronis here now. Here, recording with me on a Wednesday night. Recordings for Thursday's show, by the way, on my birthday. But my man, Zack The Degenerate, Kris Krizmanic. Wow, it's been a while since we had you two at the same time on the show. Probably since the NBA preview, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's October. Jeez. Kris has better hair now since then. Nice beard, too. What's up, fellas?
Nada, man. Happy to be home.
Yeah. All Zack does is work. Zack has been on the podcast probably about 2 months now, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
At least.
It's like once football's over, it's like, okay, I'm going to go work and, slave away and not do anything or whatever. And I'm like, can you do the pod today? Can you do the pod today? Then, nah, I'm working. Oh, you can do the pod today? Nope.
Look, I want to say December, I had 2 days off. January, 2 days off. February, maybe I had 1 day off. March, 2 days off. April, by a miracle, I've had 4 days off this month. And I mean nights, I should say.
But that's your fault. You like working. You actually like working. Bro, we had this conversation back during the pandemic.
Uh-oh.
No, I like money.
Is Ernest frozen for you too, Zack?
Yeah, he's frozen.
Yeah. I was making sure it wasn't me. Oh, Chocolate Bear's back.
I froze up, man. What the hell? Give me a second.
Yeah, you gotta stop hotspotting off your mid-mobile.
My Wi-Fi. This is not a good start to the show. Give me 1 second here. We'll figure that out in a second. Get this thing catch up real quick. This thing is so annoying. Give me a second. Come on, Wi-Fi. All right, sorry about that. Wi-Fi's been kind of shitty here on this end the last couple of days. Yeah, bro, that's on you, Zach, bro. You like to work. I remember during the pandemic when I was talking to you about that. He's like, dude, I can't stay home all day long. I gotta do something. Yeah, I gotta do something. I gotta get out of the house. I gotta do something.
Yeah, but 16 hours a day is because I have expensive vacations during the summer.
That's true. Well, you did Hawaii last year. What's this year's big trip?
Like a 12-day trip to Alaska.
Nice.
Ooh, that's very good. You're living,
like that.
buddy. You're living. Chris, what are you doing these days, man? It's been a little while.
I literally just got back from Vegas for a wedding, so that was fun.
Oh, wait, you didn't go to WrestleMania?
You got married?
Bro, stop that. For one, no, I did not get married. Two, I did not go to WrestleMania. Disgusting. How dare you?
You went to
What's
Rockabilly.
Pro wrestling was cool in middle school, bro. Pro wrestling was cool in middle school.
Tell that to the idiots that still watch it now, and it's 2 nights now. It's bigger than ever.
No.
I think he is telling it to an idiot right now.
When the WWF and WCW was still around, that was the glory days.
No. I got you. That, I agree with you on that. I am a massive old school guy, so I'll give you that.
When the Panda took away our letters and made us go to WWE, it just wasn't the same anymore.
Yeah, fuck those pandas, bro. Seriously. Fuck those pandas. Anyway, I mean, I don't have structure for this episode today. I just figured get you assholes in here, just talk the playoffs, talk draft, talk whatever comes to your mind. It's been a long time. You got a lot to catch up on. NBA playoffs. What are your thoughts so far? We're almost done the first round.
I mean, I think in the East, Boston and Cleveland are pretty much the only contenders. I don't think any other series matters. I just really don't. Like you see between Detroit and New York's not real. They're not real.
No.
Boston is going to probably gentleman sweep them, if not sweep them in the second round.
And Tom will be gone to that.
I mean, I don't even know if New York makes it. I would still put money on Detroit coming back and winning that series.
I think.
Will not shock me to win Game 6. Will not shock me to win Game 6.
For sure, Indy will be lucky to win one game in that series against Cleveland.
Oh, that I don't know. That's going to be a good series to watch.
Dude, Indy is so fraudulent. They're so fraudulent.
Overrated. They're so overrated, dude. They're so untrustworthy. If Dame was healthy for this series, dude, that walk into that series.
Stop.
Halliburton's dad's a fucking clown. Oh my god.
What was that shit about, bro? What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Like, get your fucking.
You know
ass
what?
off the damn court.
Giannis, his reply to it is just the best of the best. When he said, "You just gotta be humble and winning." That's it. And
a ring, they don't.
I mean, he said that's not even the real thing, but he did say, "What have you done?" Not gonna ring, but it's just crazy. Like, act like you've been there before.
For real,
but
dude.
The Pacers are fraudulent. I mean, I love Spicy P to death, but as constructed, they're a deep regular season team, and they're gonna get run out of the fucking building in the second round. But the Cleveland-Boston series, I wish we could just skip to that series and just skip the whole second round of the playoffs for them.
Am I wrong that, and look, I'm not being salty, Heat fan, obviously, but am I wrong that what we saw in that series of the Cavs and the Heat is more about Cleveland and just asserting their dominance? Because there is a perception, there's been a perception coming to that series, and probably still exists now with fans who don't think to be Boston, that Cleveland kind of needed some style points here to kind of send a message that, yeah, we're not playing around here. Yeah, I know it's a Heat team that was a 10-seed playing team, but when you smoke a fucking team that many points in a series, that's against a Heat team that's well coached by Eric Spoelstra. That's a message sent, right? Got to be a message sent, right?
Almost any other team in the Eastern Conference playoffs would have smoked the Heat. Like, that is how bad the Heat are.
But 122 points combined,
dude. 55 in a road closeout game is crazy.
Without Darius Garland, too, on top of that.
55 points in a road playoff game is crazy.
The Heat have no real talent. Not to compete in the playoffs.
It's rough when you see them literally say in a press conference, We were just attacking Tyler Hero in every possession, no matter who has the ball, no matter who's he's covering. We're just attacking, and then that strategy works is crazy. So
Tyler Hero also in the closeout game 4 points.
I mean, I've been telling you this for a long time. He ain't that fucking dude.
I actually slept on this on Monday night and then last night, and I think I've arrived at this point now. I think every single player on this team, including Bam, including Tyler Hero, should be up for discussion to be traded.
I mean, Bam definitely is not worth the 55 plus a year he's getting in this extension. I mean, and just the fact of the matter is, I think at some point, some of these guys have to realize that you're literally going to destroy your team's cap, and you're never going to be good if you take these max salaries and you don't deserve it. The man can't. He's a great defensive player, but he's not averaging 20 and 10. You can't be getting 50 plus million, not averaging 10 and 20 and 10. That's just a big man standard in the league if you want to be a max player. He's not hitting that.
Well, yeah, he's not. But they're not gonna give money back, bro. If it being offered the kind of money, you're gonna turn it down.
Of course, but you got to. I mean, Jalen Brunson did.
Jalen Brunson, come on now. How much money did he really turn down versus what he was really being offered?
Oh, he turned down a significant amount of money per year. He's making about half the amount he should be making per year that he could realistically be making.
And then they'd have no team. Like
that's the whole point. He's making less than Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. And he did that on purpose because he wanted all those guys on his team. He wanted to field a good team.
That's because he also knew he's not a number one in a championship caliber team. It's like Hero and Bam. They're both number twos on really good teams. They're number three on a championship.
I think Hero for sure is a 3, and I think Bam is maybe a 2. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
I don't see him even really being a 2 on a championship caliber team.
That's what I'm saying. Like those guys are just.
No, I'm with Zach here. I even said this 2 years ago when Jimmy was here and they're playing the conference finals against Boston. Like, to me, honestly, like a guy like a Bam is more effective as number 3. Than number 2. I agree with that 100%.
But he's making number 1 money.
Yeah, there's a bunch of B players on this team, with a team with no true superstars. You know, this team could win 40, maxed out 40-something games, but that's about it.
No.
Well, I mean, remember too. Also,
40 games this year. How you gonna?
Well, you also got to bake in the whole Jimmy Butler situation too. That was a messy.
Yeah, that was really messy. That was super messy.
Yeah, so you gotta really bake that in too. Also, if this roster currently constructed had a chance to go to camp and come back, they're still not a playoff team. They're a play-in team, but they might max out at the most 43 wins. That's it.
I just don't know if. I don't know if they can get a big name. Like, everyone's saying, oh, maybe Giannis will go because Dame's going to be out for the entire year next year and they're just not going to be good. Why the fuck would Giannis want to go there? They're going to have to give up a good piece to get him. Like, anybody the Heat get, they're going to have to give up core pieces. So you're going to pillage the team just to get one star. It's not like there's no one there. The free agent market shit this year. But what are they going to do?
You get rid of Bam, you get rid of Hero, you move in Giannis, you have cap space to bring in a couple of veterans. And you know what? Now they might win 45, 46 games and have a shot to compete in the playoffs.
Can they? I mean,
that's a good segue, though. I think Giannis is the story of the offseason, in my opinion. I think, and look, this is what sucks about Milwaukee's situation. It's not really their fault. Like, ever since when the title 2021, they've been a stink bit with injuries in the playoffs. Chris Middleton.
I mean, they just gave their GM
twice. You know,
they just gave their GM an extension for a reason, because anytime they need to go make a move, they did it. And what happened? Unfortunately, bad injuries. I mean, that is a thing. But
here's the thing, though, for Milwaukee. Like, obviously, you want to keep Giannis on the can, while there's windows open. But however, Giannis also his value is as high as it's probably going to be at this point. And also,
I think his value is going to be peaking for his games. I mean, it's predicated on athleticism, but he's just built different. Like that guy's not going anywhere. I'm telling you, I called this a long time ago. He's the Dirk of our generation, except he won that championship in his prime instead of Dirk winning it at the end of his prime. He won it earlier. Like I think he stays in Milwaukee for the duration of his career, and they just continue to build around him. And hopefully, Chris Middleton obviously just deteriorated so much faster than anyone could imagine.
It's so bad.
Dame comes in, deteriorates at an insane pace. Like
he had a good year though. Prior to the blood clots, he had a good year.
He had an all right year. It still wasn't
good year. What was it, like 25-6?
Like 25-6, but 45 field goal percentage. It's not the greatest for him, but
you need a little more. Yeah,
Dame's also getting paid $50 million a year. Like you need better than that.
I would put money on Giannis being gone during the summer.
I don't think it'll be because of him though. I think if they do it, it's because the team wants to do right by him and they want to put him in a winning situation. But I won't automatically say Giannis is going to be calling for a trade. I just don't see it.
Oh, I think he will be because he knows next season's a wasted season. The season after that, he's 33. If he ends up getting injured, there goes all of his value because it's all predicated on athleticism. And all it takes is a fall or a bad cut, and boom, non-contact injury, ACL blown.
So what you're saying? So by what Zach is saying there, I think, and there's something to be said about that. Milwaukee's window's closed then, right now.
Oh, I believe it is.
That is. You look at the rest of they have no young talent in the pipeline. So you have a bunch of aging vets now. Bobby Portis, Brooke Lopez, all these guys, they just have no young talent there. There's no one there to pick it up.
And they don't control a draft pick till 2031.
They
can't even draft a young talent.
They're not in the best spot, to be honest.
Lillard's out next season, so the season's a tank. When he comes back, he's 38 years old off an Achilles injury, so it's another crappy season. So 34, 35 is the next chance they even have cap space for Giannis. I think, honestly, I believe he's going to ask for a trade, and I think you're going to see 5-6 superstars get traded during the offseason.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. 100% agree with that.
I think Phoenix is definitely getting blown the fuck up. I don't know who's moving where, what, but Phoenix is getting absolutely blown the fuck up.
No, I think, we talk about Giannis asking for a trade. I think Milwaukee will welcome that, to be honest with you. I think Milwaukee wants to. I think Milwaukee is probably looking in the lay land like, you know what? Cleveland's past us. New York's past us at this point now. Indiana's past us right now, as over as they are. Boston's way ahead of us now. You have Dame going to be missing most next year too also. Giannis is, in his peak of his powers right now, but with no help. I think for Milwaukee, if you want to truly rebuild in the right way, you have a gold mine right now in Giannis that can fetch you a lot back, and those will be the building blocks to your next future. Now, obviously, it's risky because you're getting rid of a top 3 player in the league to do this, but at the same time, that same top 3 player is not bringing you titles right now because of the lack of talent around him, availability around him. So that's that rock and a hard place thing with Milwaukee. And I think Milwaukee is probably saying to themselves, if we're going to do this, now's the time to do it because this piece is still very valuable.
Here's the one last thing. Don't discount their GM being able to kind of 3-way Dame to a tanking team and then taking on some troubling stars to try and make it work. I mean, let me tell you something. Brad Beal they'll give you stuff to take on that contract.
Phoenix doesn't have anything to give. They gave up everything for Durant.
But what I'm saying is, you know what? Maybe you take Beal if you're Milwaukee and say, fuck it, at least he's available and we could resurrect whatever left in the tank he has, and you ship off Dame somewhere else and fucking call it a day. You know.
So the thing with Dame has one more year at 54 million, and then a player opt after next year at 58
He's
million.
taking the player option though.
He's taking the player opt. So there is something to be said, and I think him and Beal both have a similar contract too. Also, the only difference is that Beal has a no trade clause in that. So you're basically trading back contract, really.
Hey, but one guy's going to be healthy, one guy's not. You know. Yeah. That's all you can.
Why would Phoenix do that deal when KD already wants out? So KD's getting traded away. You're bringing in Dame, who can't play.
I'm not saying Dame has to go
you're gonna
there.
shit on your team for a couple of years.
Dame can. Unfortunately, you could ship Dame's corpse to Utah or someone else, and everyone's just shipping over young players and draft picks over to them, and they're just taking on that bad contract. Phoenix is shipping Brad Beal's corpse away, and maybe they're taking on some other, and Phoenix is just taking on some other thing somewhere else. But you would be shipping Dame somewhere else. You'd be shipping them to some super tanking team that just will hold on to that. And maybe if they're ready in 2 years, maybe Dame's that veteran leadership that team can hold on to, and it works out for them, like Brooklyn or something like that. Who maybe Brooklyn's like one more tank year and a couple pieces away. But they can hold on to Dame and maybe be able to do something in a couple of years.
I just don't believe teams shit on their own team and fan base just to help another team and get nothing.
Well, dude, they're all going to get something. They're going to get back a shit ton of picks and this, that, and
sorry about that.
Milwaukee doesn't have picks to
if you want to make a move, they'll figure out a way. They'll figure it out.
I would love to see the team you think is going to give up draft picks.
You can include Ryan Rollins and this, that, and the other, and get a second-round pick for Pat Connaughton, and you can figure out a way to wiggle your way in.
What team wins a second-round draft pick, Chris?
I'm just saying,
you're NFL draft for the second-round draft.
You're just filling in and somehow making it work. These good GMs. Look, let me tell you something. I watched Sam Presti turn Victor Oladipo into fucking Paul George and turn Paul George into 5 draft picks and SGA. Trust me, there was a way to turn mediocre contracts into.
PG was a good player who was healthy at the moment.
Yeah, but he got him for Victor Oladipo. Like, let's not forget who he got him for. Like, he turned around. Just he made it work. Like, these good GMs will make it work. They will find a way.
The only reason I don't see Dame going to Phoenix is I still think Matt Ishbia, the owner for the Suns, still wants to try to win.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying Dame gets shipped off somewhere else. This is a 3-team trade where Phoenix just wants to unload that fucking contract to anybody. And if they can they'll have to send over young talent too. And whoever the hell it is, Bol, whoever they have, they can just make a move. And first-round picks till 2040, like, whatever they got to do, they'll get rid of that contract.
But to Zach's point, though, about because you look at the upcoming free agency class of this summer, it's obviously very mid. Okay, I think
terrible. Yeah,
I think the biggest name is RJ Barrett, maybe, or is it Quigley, whatever his name is in Toronto, somebody. However, I do think we'll still have a very active summer because there's a lot of whales who are very disgruntled or are going to be disgruntled at some point. We assume. Obviously, we talk about Giannis. You talk about KD going to be on the move most likely. Trae Young is always a name that pops up every fucking summer. And I think your boy in Memphis, Ja Morant, is not long for that world in Memphis either.
You're crazy.
You think I'm crazy?
We're never trading him.
Why did I never trade him for?
Because his value is probably the lowest possible it could be. For starters, it's as low as it could possibly be.
Oh.
Really? You think?
He has to go. He has to go unhinged without he can't be doing grenade fucking celebrations, this, that, and the other. Like, no, you're not getting top value for him right now.
He's played over 65 games one time in his career already. You're talking about a young guy who can't even stay healthy enough to play.
Exactly. So a guy with his potential, you're going to keep him as a top 10 player until you see everything's perfect, and then there's a team that's desperate to go for it and ship them away. But you have to get top tier talent for a small market team like that.
But he's also not a top 10 player right now, is he?
No.
I think
100%, he's pretty close.
Okay, I'll give you that, but you can't say 100% because he's almost never there. And now, it's like Anthony Davis. Once you establish this is who you are, I bake that in now. When I preview, before the Lakers, I preview, Anthony Davis is a great player, but he's going to miss 20 games because that's what he does. John Morant, same fucking thing, same thing. And so he's on the cusp, but
But I think he'll rein in that kind of violent, dunk everything from fucking 15 feet play and kind of reduce those.
I would hope so.
Learn how to shoot over 30%.
Reduce those falls, and yes, D Wade was at that point too in his career where he couldn't stay healthy, and he kind of caught a little bit here, a little bit there, and all of a sudden he was the guy he always was. But he will figure it out. He will figure it out. That's not being Homer either. Like, that's just a real thing.
Well, he's like the ultimate high risk, high reward player.
Yeah.
Forget the off the court stuff. I'm more concerned about his style of play.
I don't think you can forget it though. Like, he's gonna miss anywhere from 20 to 30 games because he's injury prone and stupid. Like, why are you giving up a ton for?
That's why I'm saying you're not going to get anything for him. You have to keep him. He's not going anywhere. I think anybody in Phoenix is up for grabs. Obviously, Brad Beal's going to be the hardest. You're going to have to give to get rid of him. But Devin Booker, obviously, you're getting a haul for him. KD is pretty much at the point where this is the last year ever going to get something for him. So, yeah.
If I tell you right now, percentage chance KD gets traded by this before next year, 100%, right?
100%.
I would say 65%.
Whoa.
Damn.
I think Phoenix is smart enough to know a way to figure it out to make sure they retain the best team, getting the best back. So if that means keeping him and get rid of, obviously Booker's the face of the franchise, but if Booker's getting you a haul and you can somehow put together a decent team around Brad Beal and KD and getting back like all the young talent and draft picks that you can get for him, then maybe you do that. Or, I would assume that they're probably going to ask teams to take Beal with Durant to make that a combo deal and see if that entices people. That's pretty much the only way you're ever going to get rid of him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure KD wants to get as far away from Bradley Beal as possible.
Of course.
I don't ever want to hear someone say that Phoenix is a smart organization because they traded for that contract in Bradley Beal when everybody in the NBA was like, oh, hell no. No, don't stop calling me. I don't
and
want
by the
Bradley
way,
Beal.
Zach right now is taking a victory lap on this shit because he said on this show as far back as 4 years ago that motherfucker is overrated.
He was a B player who got paid like he's an all-pro, all-star, top 5 player. Like that was the worst contract I've ever seen in any sport ever handed out.
I won't go that far, but
it's up there. It's right now top 2 or 3 worst contract in the league right now.
100%, yeah.
Still, and it's been that way since the day he signed because every other team was like, did they really fucking do that? Were they really that stupid? Oh my God, Washington, you're terrible.
Would you ever thought that there'd be a day where you say the Washington Wizards were smart? Moving that contract when they could?
Them away.
Right. They were smart for doing that.
Yeah.
So, Trae Young, I think, is the big wild card.
I think Trae Young could be on the move. I think, like I said, anybody in Portland or in Phoenix, I think Portland's got pieces they need to move. Portland's got a log jam of just all sorts of young talent.
6'1" guards,
so they need to figure it out.
You can't shoot over 30% from
between Anthony Simons and Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe and all these guys. They got to figure out who they want to keep, who they want to build around. DeAndre Ayton's got to go, like, because still have a Klingon and fucking Robert Williams. Like, they got to figure out, like, what they want to go full youth movement. Like, Jeremy Grant's probably got to go. And those are still good players. Like,
yeah, and they improved this year. They were actually kind of frisky.
Yeah. I mean, Chauncey Billups looked like he was getting something out of those guys. So
they need a star.
I think the West, I only believe there's so obviously this whoever wins the Houston Golden State matchup. I'm not going to give it to Golden State yet, but I think it's a non-factor whoever wins that series. Whoever's winning that series is getting mopped. So by whoever wins the Lakers Minnesota series is mopping the winner of that series. And then obviously OKC is absolutely running through either Denver or LA. So
if you're OKC, who do you rather face, the Clippers or the Nuggets?
It don't fucking matter. Are you kidding me? I mean, I'd probably pick the Clippers just because they're just a well-coached team. But you have to assume that, Kawhi is going to be out for like half the series and,
Making it in. See, there you go. Same thing. We make it in. We making these injuries. Once you establish this is who you are, that's it.
I mean, who would you rather see, Zubac or the best player in the league? Come on, let's be real here. Like,
right?
Would you rather see Jamal Murray or would you rather see Norm Powell? Like, come on. Like, this is a real. Denver has more potential to be good. They're just maybe firing their coach 5 games before the end of the season probably is what's going to do them in. But
I guess we overrated that whole thing because they fired Mike Malone literally 5 games before the season ended, and the GM, and we're thinking, oh, they're cooked. They're cooked. And I guess their floor is not as low as the Clippers' floor. I think because of the volatility of a Kawhi injury, James Harden's playoff failures, and whatnot. I guess their floor is lower than Denver's. Because Jokic is still Jokic, and no matter what you're going to get, what you get from Jokic.
Denver proves when you have the best player in the league and a high IQ team, you don't need to care about a coach or a GM. You can put anyone on the sideline, and the best player in the league is going to run the system he wants to run, and you have a chance at winning.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you can see.
That's why Ty Lue got a freaking ring, okay?
Good players can overcome that, but you still need a good coach, and that's what Denver's lacking. That's why I think no matter who wins that series, they're getting mopped by OKC. And I think the winner of the Lakers Timberwolves series is going to destroy either Golden State or Houston.
You think so?
Yeah, I think the real matchup is Lakers or Timberwolves. I'm not going to count either one out, but obviously Timberwolves are up 3-1, and going against OKC, I think that's going to be the matchup.
Well,
I'm not saying either one's better than the other because OKC is still super unproven.
Well, they're young, and we keep using an excuse this year. But the things that they were had issues at in terms of like, okay, what pieces when they're missing last year in the playoffs? They need a big man. Well, they got Hartenstein, and he's been great. He fits well. That team is and well about OKC. They're all business, dude. They're all business. They got a star, great players, but they're all business.
You got Caruso God there, like to really solidify that lineup. Them swapping Giddey for Caruso. I mean, Giddey's playing great, but he's also putting up empty stats on a shitty team. Caruso is just the right glue piece that they needed, and we'll see what happens. I'm still unsure of them, to be honest. Here's the thing. SGA makes his living on the free throw line. Yeah. The calls get tighter and tighter in the playoffs to where you cannot rely on getting to the line 12 times like you did in the regular season. Is he going to be able to put up those big clutch moments without getting to the line? That's the key.
See, I see the playoffs a whole different story. I think the whistle gets blown way more in the playoffs because they want to slow down games and have as much advertising going on as possible. And when you look at OKC, they've got one consistent player, and that's Shea. Everybody else is hit or miss on a
No,
given
Jalen Williams is a stud. Jalen
He is
Williams
not.
yes, he is.
Jalen Williams is not even a number 2 for a championship
Oh.
team.
Ah,
You look at Chet. Chet can score 21 night and 4 the next. Right?
Chet's definitely not there yet for sure. Yeah, Chet needs to develop physically still more, but
Luke Dort, he's a defense. That's it. He's not a scorer.
but Jalen Williams is a 2. He is.
He's a 2 on that team because no one else scores besides Shea.
Zach, you're a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm not
think,
looking through the rose glasses that you guys are.
No, I think Jalen Williams is working his way to a 1B, and he's more than just a 2.
And you're the guy who thought Bradley Beal deserved his money. All right, be quiet over there.
He got us there that one, buddy. I hate to break it to you. He got us on that one. The Bradley Beal thing. That's So you're saying the only team that can challenge OKC in the West is pretty much Denver?
That's how I see it.
No, not at all. I think neither one. OKC's next matchup between whoever wins that series between Denver and LA, they are fucking smoking.
Oh,
Gentlemen's sweep.
So who is who?
I'm the other way. I think it goes at least 6, possibly 7. Whoever OKC plays next.
No. I think whoever wins the Lakers Timberwolves matchup is the only team capable of beating OKC in the West.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'd agree with that part.
I think whoever wins the Lakers Wolves series will kill Houston or Golden State, and they'll meet OKC in the Western Conference Finals, and that's going to be a great series.
So you just mentioned Minnesota. I don't remember. I don't know if you guys remember your list you guys did before the year started.
Mm-hmm.
And Edwards, where'd you guys have him? Do you remember?
I think around 10.
I had him somewhere. I think I had him 9 or 10.
So I'm looking at my right now. I had him.
I know after the playoffs last season, you wanted to put him top 5, top 6.
Everyone wanted him at top 5. Yeah,
I have him at 6.
Yeah, you'd have him higher than SGA scrub.
No, I did not.
So you didn't? Oh, okay.
Actually, had 4, buddy. Come on. And right now he's probably top 2 or 3 now at this point. You know what I mean? So no, based what you're seeing now in the playoffs again, is Edwards now a top 5 player?
Off the top of my head, no.
He's still firing from the hip. I mean, he's jacking up like 13 threes a game, and he's not shooting that efficiently. That from the field, totally he is.
Than freaking Steph Curry.
Stop that.
He did all season long. He shot better than Steph Curry.
If he beats the Lakers, I'm still saying if he beats the Lakers, and they do what they need to do against the winner of the Rockets Golden State matchup, and he gets back to the Western Conference Finals, he'll be close for sure. He'll be right there.
He won't crack my top 5. I can guarantee you that. The top 5 for me is pretty much cemented.
I think he'll be right there for me for sure if he can get back to the Western Conference Finals. He proves that to me with that cat trade. That'll be impressive to me.
Can't put him ahead of the Joker. Can't put him ahead of Giannis. Luka. Shea can't do it. I'm not putting him ahead of Tatum. Look, he's just not. He's not in the top 5.
I don't know. You know what? After everything that happened, Luka might be the one falling out, and I had him at 2. But if he beats Luka straight up, and man,
that's kind of tough to put this all on Luka when the Lakers blew their trade and decided, you know what, our biggest guy we need on this team is LeBron. And okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go get a center.
I think JJ's proven that he's not ready for this right now.
Really? I mean, granted, what he did on Sunday was pretty egregious. I agree with that.
Did you see that stat? Since they tracked player data since the 96-97 season is when they started tracking play-by-play data, the first coach ever to make no substitutions in the second half of the game. The only coach ever Do you know how crazy that is?
Are
I mean, it's
you
insane.
serious?
I agree it's insane, but I mean,
Luca
Because
off the
you're
flu game. LeBron's 400 years old. Who the
you're
fuck is
telling me
Ruri
Smith hasn't
Hachimura?
had one of those
Like, are you
games?
kidding me? Dorian
Zach?
Finney-Smith is going to play all 24 minutes in the second half. Are you fucking serious right now? Come on,
I just
man.
can't believe it because you have Thibodeau, who literally all 5 of his starters average over 40 minutes a game.
Yeah, he's
So
fucking terrible
the
for it
fact
too.
And he will lose his job for
Yeah,
this result.
and I kill him every year because of that, because his players turn on him and fucking hate his guts afterwards. Because not only does he play them the entire game, he practices them into the fucking ground in between the games. It's crazy.
All right, said
Does he-
anything less than a 6-game loss to the Celtics in the next round of playoffs, he's done. He's done. I think even that might still be done.
I think he's done after he loses in the first round.
Well, if he was Detroit, he's definitely done. 100%.
The key is the fact that Mikal Bridges, who's never missed a game in his career, was the one who was like, damn, this guy plays us a lot.
Exactly.
Like, this guy leads the league in minutes every year, and he's the one like, bro, this guy's fucking crazy. That's nuts. If that guy who's never missed a game in his career is like, bro, this guy's playing us into the fucking round.
Right.
That's how you know you're terrible.
And now you have a crop of coaches available. Now you got Mike Malone available, Taylor Jenkins available. Not saying that they're good fits necessarily, but you have enough options now with the Knicks say,
Mike Brown.
Yeah. So so you can just say, you know what, I'm out. We're out. In
I
this
think
one.
Doc Rivers is going to be available too.
Budenholzer.
No, I don't know about Budenholzer. That's another one. No, Doc Rivers. Well, Doc Rivers is lucky.
Bro, Doc Rivers is so trash. The fact that team is led by Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham as a fucking combo is crazy. Those are two of the shittiest coaches combined, together.
I agree.
Together, they make half a coach.
Wow, calm down with that one. I mean, Doc Doc is overrated. I won't call him a bad coach, but he's overrated. I'll give him that.
Darvin Ham is
way overrated.
You think Darvin Ham is really bad? Darvin Ham?
He's terrible.
I'm trying to think what else. Any other NBA stories that came to my mind today?
Awards, man.
The who?
The awards. Who you taking for the MVP?
Well, I had SGA.
You got SGA. I think it's SGA as well.
I mean, you have to. The thing is, when I say that, I feel like I have to always preface it with I'm not knocking Jokic. I think he's the best player in the NBA.
No,
and it's not
you guys are. You guys are hitting him with the voter fatigue bullshit.
It's not even that.
Made him miss the 4 in a fucking row.
But that's it. That's not what it is, though, for me. OKC.
He did that 50 total points between rebounds and
right.
and points,
but no one is talking about this. OKC almost won 70 games this year.
And
no one is talking about that. And they won the conference this year by what? 16 games? Let me check this, make sure. Get the number right.
The reason why I think it goes to shit isn't just the points. It's because of what he does on defense. He is a two-way player. He is a menace when he's guarding.
They won the West by 16 games. Okay. And I have to say this team was healthy. Well, no. Chet missed half the year. Hartenstein missed a good chunk of the year. They were doing this without those guys before they got into the lineup.
Yeah, but his Robin was there all year long.
Right. And we're not knocking Denver because I think Jokic is the best player in the league and it's not even close. But if OKC won maybe 64 games or 65 or 63 games, I might go Jokic that one. But this team almost won 70 this year. 70. Come on. And then no one's talking about it. It's it's OKC. 68 wins. Who cares?
If you see the plus minus of Denver when Jokic is off the floor, it is insane.
How bad is it?
Oh, yeah. They're the worst team. They go from first on offense to 31st.
It's the splits with him off the court is insane.
I think it's like a 16-point swing.
And for the record, I don't have fatigue at all. In fact, I'm one of the guys that always says that whole idea of voter fatigue being the thing is fucking stupid. You vote based on the 82-game sample. Stop complicating it. Oh, well, we owe this one, or this guy's got one yet, and is now starting him this. Shut the fuck up. Award the guy who deserves the most. That's it. 82 games. Done.
I don't know if you can.
So you say Jokic?
He's that good. Yeah.
Oh, no, but again, I hate this because, like, I feel like when I say SGA, I'm knocking Jokic. I'm not knocking Jokic. The guy's the best player in basketball. He's probably a top 15 player now.
Oklahoma City, but see, I don't think Oklahoma City wins 40 games without Shea. You know, I think they're just as shitty as a team as Denver would. Maybe they're slightly better than Denver.
I don't think Denver makes the play-in as a 10 seed without him.
Well, they have the talent, but that talent they have can't stay healthy or is so wonky. Michael Porter Jr. is one of the most frustrating players.
I would say MPJ's rough. Christian Braun's like, all right, he is what he is. Russ had a kind of renaissance, but AG, he's been in and out the lineup all year. Like they Jamal Murray still. I mean, this past game where he dropped a bomb on the Clippers, he looks like he's kind of getting back to his prime self, but he's still kind of working his way back from the ACL tear. Like,
I mean, we got the big Murray game in Game 5. By the way, Game 4, Aaron Gordon broke the Clippers' brain. He did.
I mean,
if that game goes overtime, Clippers win that game. They had all the men going.
A crazy ending to a game.
That's that tap in, or whatever you call that, was a franchise altering thing because if they lose Game 4, they're down 3-1. Maybe they was
going back to the clip. Yeah, going back to LA. Yeah,
and they lose Game 6. Okay, and there is, I think, you know, you talk about players on the move and teams doing things. You know, Denver is already in transition with a new coach coming up and a new GM. I think everyone outside Jokic at that point, if they lose in the first round to the Clippers, everybody outside Jokic is in trouble. Now, I think Murray will be the one to be hard to move because his contract is. I think, as good as he is, his contract is actually one of the worst contracts in the league.
Stop! No way!
Wow.
No way! You are outrageous right now. You can see him getting back to form. You can tell he's just lagging behind with this ACL tear. Like, he's going to be full steam pretty soon. Like,
I won't go that far. I just think there are far worse contracts. I think too many teams were handing out way.
I mean, I'm still putting Gobert's contract up in the fucking upper echelon right now.
No, because now it's been brought down. It's been brought down to $25 million.
Who's that?
What?
Yeah, because he signed a new extension. They squeezed down they stretched out the money, so he's averaging like 25 mil now.
Who is?
Rudy Gobert after this season.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You can do that in the NBA?
No, well, I think this is the final year of his big money deal.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, but
the contract going forward is for like 25 mil.
All right, I'll look at it right now. So Rudy Gobert is owed 35 next year, 36.5 the following year, and then a player opt at 38 in 2027.
What's he at this year? He's still like 50 this year.
I mean, it's still a bad contract.
I thought it was much less. I thought he signed like 4 years, $100 million. I guess it was
it's
3 years.
It's still a bad contract though, but he's still. I mean, look, he's not worth that kind of money. However,
hell no.
At least on that side of the ball, he's still really good. You know,
he wasn't He wasn't even in the DPOI discussion this year. If you're making that much and you're averaging less than 10 points a game, that's something wrong.
Well, Minnesota's stupid.
They are.
That contract won't be tradable for another 2 years. So.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! So the Warriors came back now. I turned the game off, and all of a sudden they come back now. What the hell? Anyway, I don't know. I think Denver, if they lose a series, they're looking at probably moving Porter Jr., Eric Gordon, maybe. They'll probably try to inquire for moving Jamal Murray, but that contract is.
See, again, I don't think Denver's going full blow up mode again. I think
I'm not saying full blow up, but they're gonna try to at least make some moves.
Well, I think even if Denver wins, they're gonna try and move Porter Jr. during the offseason.
I mean, look at Murray's contract, dude. I mean, granted, he's still a really good player, but 46 next year, 50 the following year, 53.8 the following year, and then 57.5 on his last year.
I think he's still getting better though.
Murray?
I think he's still
a good player. He's just I don't think he's worth that kind of money.
You got me more going to your side that is a pretty bad contract.
Yeah, I think
it's the value.
$57 million as a final year. He's got 4 years at $50 million basically.
He's a 1B in my eyes.
No,
he works.
He's a 2B.
He's a number 2. Period. He's not.
He's a 1B. He's a 1B.
He's a 2B because he's never even had to run a team.
Yeah.
All he does is score. He doesn't play defense. So you're getting nothing unless you put him with a guy who can facilitate.
You guys are forgetting all the monster playoff series he's had.
No, he has, but look at who's playing with though.
Yeah.
Don't matter. He can get it done.
Wait, you're saying he can go, wait, hold on. You're saying that same Jamal Murray can go to give me an XT, give me Utah, give me a middling team. Well, Miami, I think they can work because Miami's Miami, but a team at Toronto and be this good in Toronto?
Yes, 100%.
And that translates into wins.
I'm pretty sure that he could put up monster stats and take a team to another level if he went anywhere. Absolutely.
I don't see that way with him.
No,
I think he's on a team with a guy who's special, who's probably already a top 15 guy all time. That no. He's again. I'm not knocking Jamal Murray. He's a very good player, but they gave him that contract because of who he plays with.
I think you guys are underestimating his value because he played with someone that good. He could go anywhere else and be putting up those stats. 1,000,000%.
I think you put up some scoring numbers. That's it.
He sacrifices his numbers to play with Joker. It's not the other way around.
He doesn't sacrifice any numbers. The Joker gives him all of his numbers.
Stop that.
He plays off ball. So what numbers can he be sacrificing?
People who get their numbers off Joker are like AG. AG wouldn't be doing anything without Joker. Are you kidding me?
Neither would Michael Porter Jr. I don't think any of those guys would be doing anything without Joker.
No, because those guys cannot create for themselves. Jamal Murray can create for himself and his teammates.
Okay. I'll be waiting for those assists sometime.
Jamal Murray could put up 30 and 10 assists anywhere else.
All right.
Yeah, but what it translates to wins, though, is a question.
Yeah, of course.
Is he a winning player?
Yes.
In Washington.
He plays winning ball.
Easy to say play with the best player in the league. Easy to say that.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. So, are we on OKC Boston finals? Oh, have we shifted?
I think so, but Minnesota can say something about that. The winner of the Minnesota Lakers series has a better shot than Cleveland does against Boston. I think you could pencil Boston right now.
Yeah, well, I certainly think it's still Boston in the East.
Boston, I think, is by far the favorites to win it all. I don't think it's even close.
I'm not like obviously they're the favorites, but I think this Cleveland team is being underestimated. Look, I will still pick Boston win the series, but it would not shock me if the Cavaliers do win that series because I still think Boston's beatable.
I don't
get them off the 3-point line, and you play physically with them. Force Tatum, suck Tatum into the basket. You know he hates the physical play anyway, and then you can make that series.
Oh,
the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic just played football against them.
Yeah, but they don't have the personnel to hang with Boston overall. Cleveland does. That's the difference.
You think Evan Mobley's gonna fucking body KP like that? Please. They're gonna run through that front line just fine.
Now, again, I'm picking Boston to win that series. I'm just saying that I feel better about Cleveland's chances now than I did before the playoffs started.
I feel the same for Cleveland.
I feel the
they
same.
Just don't have a chance.
Unfortunately, Cleveland gives me kind of ISO Joe, Atlanta, Mike Budenholzer vibes.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were
Like,
gonna
they
say that.
give me
2014 Coach Bud.
Yes, they give me those vibes. I love Spider to death. I think Donovan Mitchell is incredible. But 1A, and if Garland could be even a 2, not even a 1B, but a solid 2, it'd be a different story. But he's not. And Mobley's never going to be like a 20 and 10 guy. He's more of like a 17 guy. Right? He won Defensive Player of the Year ago. Him. Jared Allen's like a 15 and 10 guy. But none of those guys impose their will on the game. They all rely on other guys who make it happen for them. And if Spider's having an off game, then yeah, he's not going to be able to create for him. But when he's on fire and then all of a sudden you're doubling him and he's creating for everyone else, yeah, that team's running on all cylinders. But if he's not having some monstrous fucking game, and all of a sudden you're just playing him one-on-one, all of a sudden none of those other guys are beating you.
I think the only reason why Mobley can't go 20 and 10 is because you have Allen right there. They're both playing inside for the most part. That kind of takes away his numbers.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point. Like, the team's just not.
No, the team.
They're almost there, but they're just, I don't know. They're just built for regular season success. Like, they're not built for like a superstar late. I'm sorry, Boston's just a super team that's has the biggest payroll in the league by far, and who the fuck's going to beat them because they're paying everybody. Like, their team is just unreal.
Yeah. Well, they did that this year because they put the team up for sale.
Yeah,
I guarantee
you actually mentioned. You mentioned something. We actually were talking about that in the group text about Boston and what they may not do in the next couple of years with the obviously high payroll. They got a new ownership group now. How long do you see this actual core sticking together?
This could be last year. I mean, I don't know how the new ownership is, but that repeater tax is going to be insane. They're going to have to pay like $500 million to keep this payroll.
I heard.
Yeah, everybody is up for trade. Except
now, here's the thing: if they win easily this year, which I could see them smoking everyone in front of them, and you're up for a three-peat, do you say fuck it and just pay the payroll?
No,
you can't tell the fans of the Celtics that we're going to break it up, even though it's a three-peat, on the horizon. That's a bad look.
Everyone's locked. Here's the thing: everyone's locked in.
For so 4 years, 3-4 years.
It is up to them on whether or not they want to continue this lineup or this payroll or not. Everyone's locked in under the salary cap. Now, are they way over it? Yes, but they use bird rights and shit to get there. So they are their team is locked in. So it's up to them if they want to make the moves or not. Yeah. I feel like if you're up for if you win convincingly this year and you're up for a three-peat, I don't see them making moves.
I think the only reason Kris might be right is the fact when you make a trade, you still have to bring back salary. So they're still going to be over the luxury tax, the second apron. So they might as well just keep the core together and wait until someone's contract expires.
The only guy. Go ahead.
Here's the thing: with the tax that they're going to hit, like every million's going to cost them like exorbitant amount. So even though you're bringing back some salary in these trades, you're still saving so much money offloading some of these guys.
Yeah, but with the new agreement, they have to bring back that equal amount. And at their trade, because they're over the second apron, they can only go 1-for-1 on players. So they got to take back another big contract. So they're basically screwed in that part and being forced to have to pay the repeater tax.
Oh, they're going to pay regardless, but yeah, they can make some moves, but
somebody's contract to expire before they can even do a trade or make a move.
And who knows? I mean, the only guy you can see them losing is Al Horford to retirement, but that man might stay for a chance at a three-peat. Fuck, he might stay.
What about KP? Is he signed for another year, or does he become a free agent?
He has one more year in his contract next year.
Yeah,
he's then they're locked in. They can't do anything to avoid the the amount of money they're going to pay in a repeater tax.
Tatum's locked in another 4 or 5. Brown's not locked in for another 4 or 5. I think Derek White's another 4 at least.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is there? Now by then,
Drew.
I mean Drew Holiday, another 2 years that he retires with that. In 2 years, that's when his contract is over. Who's the other guy that's taking that space?
I think
that's it. Yeah, that's the core.
Yeah, but some of the bench guys are getting paid too. So
Pritchard's gonna make money now going forward. I think.
I think Pritchard's the one guy you might lose because whenever his contract's up, they're not going to be able to retain him. But
yeah, so yeah, I think he's young too, also 27 years old. So I think their situation is going to be something to look at in terms of the ownership groups and how they approach that. If they win this year, there's no way in hell you can break the team up. You can't. Because
I just think if they win
in that town, bro, Kris, in that town, they will hang that fucking ownership group if they don't try to go for the 3 feet.
They stabbed their own best player before in their town. Trust me, I know how crazy those fans are.
Exactly. So, all right, let's pivot to the NFL real quick. I already said my piece about the Giants in multiple podcasts last week. I'm going to ask you guys because I mean, obviously, Degenerate, you are a fan of the Commanders. Kris, you're a fan of the Bengals. How do you guys feel now coming out of the draft about your team?
I think it was a terrible draft for my team. We literally made a trade for a left tackle and then drafted a guy who plays left tackle. And we're going to say, oh, well, we're going to move him in maybe in a few years. If you're going to do something like that, why wouldn't you draft a defensive end? Then, on top of that, you had the top corner, not named Travis Hunter, on the board, and you still didn't take him. You went with a left tackle who is going to move to guard or right tackle. Like, it was a terrible draft. Did we get a pass rusher in free agency? No. Did we get a pass rusher in the draft because of that? No. We decided we don't need a pass rush. We had no pass rush all season last year. No, we don't need one this season, upcoming season either.
So basically, you had a shitty draft.
Yeah, and then we take another little running back. For what purpose? So that maybe we have a third down catching running back? Stop. Can we get a guy who can run for 1,500 yards in college?
And this is after you guys. This is actually after you guys won free agency. Actually, now you guys lost the draft.
To me, we did.
You won. On the plus side, new ownership. Got a new stadium. So,
well, they still got to vote on the city council. Still got to vote on that.
I'm sure they vote. I'm going to vote yes on that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, they got 3 no's. They can only afford 1 more no.
Oh shit! For real?
Yeah, you got to have like seven yeses. So there's 12 people on the board on the city council.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to go 7-5 in order to get it. You got 3 confirmed no's. So anything more than 2 more no's, you're screwed.
There'll be some backdoor politic in about that one. Come on now.
Yeah, they'll get that. They'll make it happen.
Make it rain. Make it rain. Kris, your Bengals, how you feel?
I'm kind of in the same boat where the pass rusher we got, I'm all for projects and whatnot, but you don't use a 17th overall draft pick on a guy who has such small college production. The only reason I hate the pick is because there was a handful of guys that I would have taken ahead of him. So if, Will Johnson's not there and Jahdae Barron's not there and we need a corner or defensive back and we don't take any in the fucking draft, go figure that. So we pass up on 2 stud defensive backs and another pass rusher who had college production and tested just as good in Pierce. And we take a guy who just tested off the charts but did not have the college productions. You
guys could have gotten Mike Green too, and you're like, no.
Don't get me started on the second round because Mike Green, not only do we pass on Mike Green in the second round, of all teams, of course, Baltimore fucking takes him. I just texted my friend. I go, man, I would trade 5 first-round picks for Ozzie Newsome because he just never makes bad picks. And, of course, he picks up,
Well, Ozzy's not really there anymore making those
I
picks.
know, but he's the architect. He's the reason why DaCosta makes all these draft picks. He learned from Ozzie Newsome. Like, Ozzie Newsome, the good teams just go BPA. Whoever falls to you, just take them, regardless of need, whatever. Take the best guy available. And when you stop doing that and you're just taking dudes based on your own projections and whatever you need, and great, they want to play hardball at Trey Hendrickson and be like, oh, yeah, we got this guy. They want to try low ball Trey again for his contract extension. Go for it. We doubled down in the second round with a middle linebacker who I love. I could care less about guys that are 6-year starters. Joe Burrow was a 6-year player. Just because the guy's 25 coming out of college doesn't mean he's going to be a bad player. Like, I like him, but also they took him kind of high. I'm sorry, if you're going to reach for guys, trade down like 7 spots. Pick up an extra draft pick. Just every player just seemed like a reach. And then we took 2 middle linebackers and 2 guards. It's like, I know we had some deficiencies there, but man, doubling down those draft picks are rough when we have such a need at corner and safety, and we don't take a single one. It's like, my God.
Well, maybe we don't like sign 2 receivers to number 1 money starters.
But we don't. We have the money. The good teams find a way. Philly has a shit ton of guys making a shit ton of money. They find a way.
They have the best capologists in all football.
But the worst part is, beginning of last season, Jamar just wanted to barely beat JJ's contract. What happens? We wait so long that so many guys end up beating that contract, and then now we have to beat Myles Garrett to make him the highest non-paid quarterback. That's fine. Last year, beginning of free agency, before we tagged T. Higgins, he says, I'll take Michael Pittman money, 3 years, $70 million. Say, no, we're going to play hardball, play on this fucking franchise tag. And what happens? We have to pay him even more money after the season he has. We wait so long to get these. You win the battle, but you lose the war by a long shot, is what happens. You're losing the war. You play hardball Trey Hendrickson, what happens? Now Max Crosby gets paid. Myles Garrett, they reset the market even more. If we keep waiting, guess what? Micah Parsons deal is going to come in and reset the market again. And then now Trey's going to be like, yeah, I led the league in sacks over all these guys on a shitty fucking team who no one was passing the ball on because they were getting the run down our throats. And this guy still led the league in sacks, and we still can't get this guy paid. It is crazy. He's only 30 years old.
I just saw they signed Henderson to a 1-year deal.
Did they?
Yeah, 1 year at $21 million.
No, it has to be more than that.
15.8 base salary, signing bonus 2.6. Yeah, plus that's what I'm reading here. Apparently, by the way, Zach, I think his phone died. I think.
Yeah.
No, I was reading on the Google machine. Yeah, he signed $30 million.
That might be what he has left on his deal.
Let me check that. Make sure. Hold on. So Anderson.
But the worst part of it all is, if you know you're going to end up signing these guys and giving them the money, you make the organization look like a clown. Like, who's going to want? What free agent's going to want to sign? Trey Hendrickson, when we signed him as a free agent, we gave him a pretty good deal. Obviously, he outperformed the shit out of the deal. And instead of paying him like he deserved, we make him jump through hoops to get there. Now all the free agents are going to be like, I would sign there, but look at what they do to all their players. T. Higgins has to go to 2 franchise tags to get his deal. Like, they make all this and this is homegrown talent, by the way. So to me, we'll eventually, because of Joe, we'll get some ring chasers to sign, but the impact free agents, I don't think we'll ever, we got lucky with Orlando Brown, but we'll never be able to get those impact guys because they're going to see how we operate as a franchise and never take them seriously.
Yeah, they wrote this wrong. The way they wrote it on Sporting News, that Trey Henderson gets $32 million contract update. It's not necessarily a contract. Yeah. I hate these fucking publications, dude. They write these things.
Everything is clickbait these days. Yeah.
God, I can't stand it, dude. God. So he's still not locked in yet. He's owed $15 million for next year, but he wants a new contract.
It's tough for Zach's team because they're, and my team in general too. It's just teams that are right there. You know, they made it to the NFC Championship game. You know, when you're that close, you want to use a draft on just immediate impact players. And it's tough to see, like, we still need to build for the future. No matter what, even though we're close and Jaden Daniels has taken them ahead of schedule, you can't think that narrow-minded, like, mindset, because then you end up screwing the future. You have to just keep continuing the way you do, and eventually you'll get the team that you want. But if you try to trade for impact players just because you think your team's close, and all of a sudden NFC gets better, maybe Jaden was like a flash in a pan. You know, you can't sell out just because your team overachieved last year,
right?
Yeah, because when you sell out for that, then you end up mortgaging the future.
Yeah, I think we lost Zach for good because I think his phone died. So before I let you go, one more last thing. Obviously, we're now in May. Drafts behind us, free agency's behind us. The only thing left now is to find the schedules, who's playing what day, that kind of thing. Who, in your opinion, is winning or has won the NFL offseason so far, in your opinion?
I mean, here we go. The Eagles, because they took a stand and like 10 players didn't show up to the White House, and I love that. And they didn't lose anyone. They only got a bunch of good players in the draft. They stuck to what they do, and they keep winning. I'm going to go with the Eagles. Like, how can you not?
And the thing is, too, also, when Trump was president the first time and they won the Super Bowl in 2017, they didn't go at all, if I'm mistaken, to the White House. So, yeah, I guess they're taking a stand and whatnot, whether you may agree or disagree with what they're doing. I mean, it's kind of controversial. Like, I have two ways about how I feel about White House visits. Like, on one hand, like I would go because I think it's an experience. You won't ever have the president's ear like that. I've been critical of players who have the opportunity to go and they won't go, even though they don't like who's in office. Because I look at it as more of like, if you go, and especially if you're like a Kevin Durant, for example, LeBron James, you actually have the president's ear. You can at least, I mean, obviously you won't probably influence anything, but you can at least try. You know, that's the way I look at it more. I mean, maybe I'm just naive and think that way, but I remember back in the day, like, you know, growing up, where when you went to the White House, where you won an NBA championship, NFL Super Bowl, whatever, World Series, it was just one of those standard things you did, and no one really made a big deal about it. But the last 10, 15 years is like, it's actually started with Obama, to be honest with you.
Well, I think, and more so anything else, athletes never wanted to get into politics because you don't want to hurt your advertising deals. You want to hurt all your off the field sponsorships and whatnot. I think with player empowerment and the way the league's trending, these guys want to use their voices, and that's awesome. And I think when you have such an egotistical president, that disrespect of not showing up is going to ring louder than anything you could ever do. Here's the one thing I will say: I don't want people to drag guys like Saquon just because they showed up.
I agree.
If the guy wants to go, let him go.
Let him go. Thank you. Let him go.
If you want to play a round of golf with Donald Trump, let him do that. You should not tarnish guys for doing it. You should applaud guys for standing up for what they believe in, but you should never disparage guys for making a choice to go to a traditional thing that has always been around.
I don't find it productive at all to criticize a guy. And okay, so you don't make yourself feel good now saying that? Now what?
Just everyone criticizes the guy that should. No, applaud the guys who take a stand, but don't criticize the guys that go. Don't try to divide a locker room that doesn't exist. Like the guys, the list was long. Smitty didn't go. Like there's a lot of influential players that didn't go.
I don't know if you know this though, but I think Jeff Lurie is actually a Democrat. Yeah. I think he's one of the few owners that's actually on the other side of the political spectrum. So the Eagles actually are a more left-leaning franchise, actually. So again, when they won a Super Bowl in 2017 during Trump's first term, they didn't go to the White House at all. So I mean, this time around they went, but half the team showed up. Well, like most team went, but 10 didn't show. You said 10 didn't show up.
I think it was about 10 players. Yeah.
Let me check to make sure. In 2017, they didn't go. But I remember it being a big deal. They didn't go in 2017. Did the Eagles go to the White House? Let me see that.
But I'm all for doing what you believe in. Number one.
No. They were disinvited. So the Eagles were disinvited to the White House in 2018. The last time they went to the Super Bowl, after a number of players they would drop out amid tensions over the anthem protest that had swept in, and that's what it was too. Also, that was during the peak of the anthem protest, the Colin Kaepernick stuff, and all that. So they were disinvited. They were disinvited because they weren't going to go.
Yeah,
right. They were invited. They said, "Now we good, fam," and Trump said, "Well, no, I'm just inviting you now." So whatever. You
can't quit. I'm firing you.
Yeah. No. You got it wrong, buddy. So anyway, good pod tonight. Sorry to lose Zach in the last couple minutes here. Wi-Fi issues aside, I'm seeing you tonight for my birthday.
Absolutely.
Holy shit. Let's try this again. You hear me now?
Yes.
Oh my God. This Wi-Fi is killing me. All right, this Wi-Fi is killing me. Am I seeing you tonight for my birthday?
Of course.
All right, man. Kris, thanks for coming to the pod. Zach, of course. I'm sorry you couldn't come back in the show. But till the next one, good job as always, man.